Welcome to the Insightful Player podcast. My name is Chrissy Carew. I'm the host and founder of Insightful Player and the author of Insightful Player, Football Pros Lead a Bold Movement of Hope. I partner with NFL players to transform our world to be inclusive, kinder, and more loving. In each episode, I interviewed NFL players and NFL vets who overcame tremendous obstacles to reach their dream of playing in the NFL. And I'm also a transformational coach. I empower my clients to embrace their dreams, to transform their world and the world around them. And we want you to believe in your dreams and encourage you to commit to them now. Humanity is in trouble. We need you. We all need to do this. We need to embrace our dreams and share them with others so we can have an immediate positive impact on making our world a much kinder place. We invite you to become an important part of our bold movement of hope. Watch this podcast, share it with others, and let us know what you want to see and hear to support you in becoming an insightful player in your life. Thank you. Welcome back to the Insightful Player podcast. My name is Chrissy Carew, and I'm a business and life coach, as well as the founder of Insightful Player. I founded it in 2009 because I was worried sick about kids with role models falling down left and right. So I partnered with NFL players with great role models who wanted to share their story and their personal message of hope and let kids know that they overcame tremendous obstacles and they reached their dream in spite of all the obstacles they came up against, and that they want kids to know, and adults alike, that they can too. And what we're doing now is we're bringing it back because we want to bring more kindness, inclusion, and love into our world because things are pretty messed up right now. And we believe that love wins. And today we have back with us wonderful Jarvis Green. As you know, Jarvis played for the Patriots. He won 2 Super Bowls, went to 3 Super Bowls. He had a really tough upbringing, and he overcame tremendous obstacles and built amazing amount of resilience. And while he was doing that, he did a lot of work on his personal development, which made him the success he is as a human being today. But it hasn't been easy, even since he left football. And we're going to talk about that today. So welcome back, Jarvis.
Hey, Chrissy, how you doing?
Good, very good. So happy to have you with us again today.
Yes, thank you very much.
Let's just go right into how you were into Oxy, and how you want a message for kids that they should never take drugs, and you were really blessed and lucky.
Yeah, I think, the mind is very strong, very powerful, and we have so many distractions in today's world, and drugs is one of them. And, I have 3 kids of my own, and from what we talked about, just the things that I went through and trying to get through football and sports. And I know that was from injuries and the body and trying to stay on the football field. But I was able to go cold turkey, and also just change and adjust. And I think a lot of it comes from the mental aspect, for us how we think and how we process things, And these drugs they don't help that. They slow that down, and they make you very cloudy. So I always tell kids too, if you're going to do anything, so I tell kids, don't do drugs. Try to do things, mentally, physically with your mind, with your body, because that is more powerful than anything else, but you have to control that and don't let other things tempt you or let other things cater to bringing you down. And drugs is one of those things, So for me, that's why I know in my situation that I flushed all the drugs down the toilet, because I see that's not the outcome is not going to be pretty. It won't be positive. And I was able, and there's a higher power, so we have to find that in ourselves and who we believe in, and it takes mind over the body to beat those things.
Right, and it's not easy to give up drugs, and it's such that's a pandemic here in our country.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that you're sharing that message with kids to stay off, because it's not easy to get up, and it can ruin your life forever, and all those around you who love you.
That's detrimental.
Yeah, very detrimental. So we all have the power within, like you said, the immense power of the human spirit and the profound courage within everyone, right?
Yes,
And
everyone.
yeah, and there's also tremendous goodness within all of us, and we need to go with that.
I agree.
Yes. Well, good. Well, thank you for sharing that. I think that's a really important message for kids and adults alike, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So you've had quite the journey since you left football, and you're like a serial entrepreneur. And it started out with helping a friend
Mm-hmm.
in Louisiana. Can you tell us that story?
Yeah, friend a favor in 2012, and his family. Well, he was more like, remember that favor you owed me? I said, yeah. So I said, what you need me to do? And he was like, could you come, or we want you to come and help us with our shrimp sales. And I'm like, yeah, but y'all Louisiana, aren't y'all doing okay? You got a couple of restaurants, you have a big facility. He said, yeah, we are, but we want to get traction more out of the state. So we want to go like to the Northeast. And they wanted me to go to where Boston, or where I played football at. And I'm like, man, I could do it, but I don't know anything about shrimp. So it was more or less, he said, no, no. He said, we're going to teach you everything. We're going to help you. And I started a 6-month internship with a shrimp business in New Orleans. And I did that for 6 months. And really, I did everything under the sun. I'm still in the seafood business.
That's amazing. And I remember you telling me how you even sweep the floors and drove the trucks, back in the
Yeah.
old days.
Oh, when they needed something delivered, I did it. I mean, the furthest drive I ever took was to I got a deal with Albertsons, and I drove from New Orleans to Phoenix, Arizona.
It's quite the journey. You learn from the ground up. And then
Yes,
go ahead. Go ahead.
no, and yes, I did. And I mean, it wasn't like, it never felt like it was work. I didn't know what I was going to get into or what my end game was. But I kept doing the different things. Whatever they needed done, I was there. I did it. It was interesting, but it was fun at the same time.
That's great. And then where did you go from there?
Um, from there, well, there was a lot of stuff that went on. I worked for another shrimp company, and then for maybe 4 or 5 months, and they were trying to kill me. When it came down to work, they just made things very hard for me. So I said, you know what? I went back to business, and then I had people calling me about selling shrimp. So um, I got back into the shrimp business, and I started my own business 2015, Oceans 97. And that's kind of where it started for me. The entrepreneur spirit in me, but just using all my old connections and old customers, I just got back into it, and here we go again. That's kind of how it started, a revamps.
Right. So the other people just kind of worked you to death, and wore you out.
Yeah,
They didn't try to kill you, right?
well, I always see body competition out, because but the thing is, so when I got in, it was like they were trying to get all the secrets and the trade secrets from me. That's what they were trying to do, and I kind of, well, not kind of, I caught that, so I was very limited in what I was explaining to them, because they were selling shrimp down south, but the prices and the rates was a lot different when you go sell. So that changed, and it was just too much, and they try to keep me locked in the office and keep me on the phone. And that wasn't the whole deal, because when they wanted me to come work, they didn't say, we want you to work for us. They said, can we work together?
Oh,
Can you help us? They didn't say, we want to make you an employee, but they was trying to make me an employee. So at the same time, it's like, the stuff we're going to talk about later about just the color of my skin, and the things that I had to go through. And I'm like, it was just a waste of time.
right. And what did you learn from that experience?
Um, don't ever think every sheep you see is not a sheep. It could be a wolf.
Right, right. Because I know, and we're going to come up on that later, is that you've had to do a lot of growing with trusting people, right? along
Yes.
the way, and trying to please. And
Right.
yeah. So do you feel like you've really gained some wisdom from that, Jarvis?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm great now. Some of my business deals don't happen overnight. I mean, it's business, and a lot of times when I meet people, I guess they try to figure me out. And a lot of them try to see if I don't understand the shrimp business. And I just laugh about it because, I mean, I've sold to Stop and Shops and Market Baskets and these big companies, and I mean, I'm on Amazon now, and I understand business, and I understand sales, I understand all of that. Now I'm a one person guy, so a lot of times, when people talk to you, everybody, it's hindsight. Everybody has all the answers. I want to tell you what to do and how to do it, but I'm one person. I have a few people, a few people that work with me or work for me. I have my counsel, and some deals I see now. I mean, I've learned that every deal is not for me. So
Good.
at least I can be comfortable in the decisions I make today. Because in the past it was more like I was chasing different deals and was trying to get into to 5 or 8 different places at one time. But I mean, if you can't grow your like employment or employees, it's kind of hard. I'm only one person. I can't be 10 people. So I understood that as well. So for me, the things that I've learned, it really helped me now today to who I am and molding me in who I am today, that I can believe in, that the things that I do now, I do them off of confidence, not just taking the chance.
Right. In your values, you have wonderful values that you honor as well.
Thank you.
Yes, definitely. In the story, I remember you telling me the story about how things were going really great with Ocean 97, and all of a sudden you lost your biggest manufacturer, and you had some challenges with people
Yeah,
that,
I mean, yeah, a lot of things happen so much. I mean, even like with shrimp business, it's not consistent to the point that we domestic shrimp, So I mean, yeah, they got maybe 28, 30 shrimp facilities, but I mean, I didn't do business with all the shrimp facilities. I did business with people that I trust. And if they have a storm or Mother Nature come in, I mean, we cannot control that, And I know it was times that even like when I got into Stop and Shop, I hold everything was going well, but it's hard. And I'm gonna say this too. It got to the point that I was doing so well in business. People always ask me the question like, "Who's doing this for you? Who's doing that for you?" And I'm like, me. And I don't know if it was the color of my skin or what, because when I was doing these jobs and having all these deals, I mean, I was running a business and I was doing it I think with a decent corporate structure. We use a factoring. We had a bank that we factor all our POs, and the supply chain. But then, some people, I think, in a way, because I had my sauces, I had my recipes, everything was all mine, that I created. What a chef in the kitchen. But then I would deconstruct it and make it cleaner and healthier, being value added domestic shrimp. And when I walk in some facilities, I used to be like, "Hey, I got these big deals," and some of these companies never even heard some of these retailers that I was dealing with. But of
oh,
course, they wasn't in that business, but they created sauces and soups, and it got so bad to the point that I got calls from the seafood buyers saying, "Jarvis, this isn't what we created, or this isn't what I approved." And I'm like, "Hold up, I know what I got signed off at the facility." I remember I remember one time I got off the airplane unannounced. I walked into the sauce plant and said, "Give me a spoon," because they was making my sauces. And it's hard, and people say, "Well, you have to do this, you have to do that." I said, "No, no, no, no." I said, when you're in business, you have a supply chain, it's ethics that's involved. That if you order something or ask for something, this is what you're supposed to get. I can't be in 10 different places at one time. That's just like somebody ordering something from China. This is what you ordered. You're not about to go fly directly to China and check that out every time you have to make a process and order. You trust that supplier, or that company, that they're going to give you the exact thing that you agreed upon through contract. So I remember going to the sauce plant, and they use like a I don't know what to call it, but they use a ingredient that wasn't what was approved. And that was one of the deals that kind of messed up my Stop and Shop deal. And not kind of, it was one of them, right? And then every time I do something, it was like, I'm making money with a company. They're creating sauces. 4 months in, they're like, so Jarvis, like, can we meet like the bosses? Can we meet like the people in charge? I said, I'm in freaking charge. You're talking to me. I'm here. So how do you expect to do business with anyone when they're doubting the way you do business? All the bills were getting paid, checks were getting paid. I mean, some of those, and I went through, and I've been going through that, my whole life when it comes to seafood business. Just people doubting me and doubting me. And I remember when Walmart called me, it was just so much. And I had third-party companies. A lot of people scared of Walmart, and a lot of vendors I had to go to didn't believe I was dealing with Walmart. So sometimes I had to walk in to the facility and ask them for their computer. They're like, why do you need my computer? So I can show you that I'm a vendor for Walmart. This is my vendor number. So whatever you want to talk about, it's all legit. So I've been through that so many times, and it was to the point, it's just like, where can I get a break? And I see all the stuff about the Black Lives Matter and the minority companies. I've been a minority company, since 2015. I've been working with the big Fortune 500 companies, all of that, so some of the things that goes on now just wasn't for me and the people I work with in my supply chain. And it's sad to say that even like with the stuff I have now, I had to go out the country just so I can do business with people who didn't care about the color of my skin.
Wow, so that's still going on.
Oh yeah, still going on.
It's so wrong. It must have been so discouraging and maddening. I mean, people not to honor and respect you. And
yeah, it is. It goes on, but at the same time, you got to keep moving forward and do business. So, I mean, I have opportunities now, and thank God for social media. And I know like the largest gift basket company contacted me maybe a month ago. I'm doing business with them now, and they're moving volumes. It's called LA Baskets. So I'm just blessed that, and they're buying my canned shrimp that goes into a gift basket. So I'm just blessed that I didn't give up. I had people saying, stop, do this. I had people say, come work for me, come do insurance, do more construction. You're not doing nothing, you're not going anywhere. I said, well, I mean, I created something that's first of its kind. I'm working my butt off. And I mean, COVID was a big deal, because before COVID, I remember I got approved with Kroger nationwide with my canned pate, and got approved in Hong Kong with a big supermarket. So it's like, I'm going to get all of that. It's going to come back to me, but I'm a patient soul. I'm very patient. I've learned, I really do make less phone calls now. Before I made so many phone calls, I was chasing deals. I really don't do that anymore. The deals come to me,
that's
and
great.
I think that's the universe, and that's me taking care of myself and taking care of people and respecting people with kindness, with respect.
And I know you respect people that feel like they're not in it for you, that you still give them respect. That's one of the many things I admire about you.
Yeah. Thank you. I've been through that. I've been through some deals that it wasn't even just me. They had other people, investing in things, and we had a crook in the gang, and all in the group, and something happened, and it affected everybody. So I mean, I learned from that. So I mean, like making new investments, I really don't. I just invest in myself. That's what I do now.
Right. And there was a time when all your friends and people that cared about you told you, give this up, because you had some tough times with your business. And you were so willing to make sacrifices because you had this vision that you believed in, and you believed in the quality of your products. And you even let go of your car because you couldn't afford your car anymore. You did that for how long?
I mean, it was maybe 6-7 months, but it happened right before COVID. So I have an excursion of 20 years, and it wasn't. I mean, the truck was paid for, but it was getting older. It was a diesel excursion. I probably put 50,000 miles on it a year, And I remember I gave it to my brother, I think at 300,000 miles, and he was like, "This is a classic, it's an antique." I said, "Yeah, but it cost me 10 to 15 grand a year. I don't need that expense. I got kids, went through my divorce, I got to take care of my kids, and I was staying with my brother because we had like a deal. He bought this place, I helped him out a little bit, and I was there, but it was time for me to move on, So it was right before COVID. I gave the truck up like January. And then I was staying in the Attleboro, Massachusetts area. And then I was like, I need to come back home. So COVID hit, had a nasty little breakup, came back home, and I had no vehicle.
You had
But
what kind
then,
of break? You said you had some kind of breakup. What was
yeah,
that?
just a relationship. That's all.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So COVID hit, and my shrimp business just stopped. All the deals I had stopped because I just launched my new canned product like in October 2019. And you know what's crazy, Chrissy? I won some deals with the government and gave them my truck, and I had my best sales for Ocean 97 from the time it started during COVID.
Right. And I know you were down on your knees praying for God to help you because that's pretty tough when everything stops and you're self-employed and you're creating and you have your own business and you're creating your own paycheck and you
Yeah,
pray for insights from God. And I
yeah,
think that's a great story that you could share with us.
thank
Did
you.
you?
And I mean, I prayed, but I mean, I wasn't worried at all. I mean, I was there. I got my coffee every day. I made my little breakfast. I was doing a little jogging, eat my little cans, shrimp after I finished working out. And I was trying to sell some beef and some other things. And I'm like, hold up, I'm a state vendor, approved government vendor for the government. I'm like, let me go check out see what's going on with this pandemic. And that's when it got crazy with all the PPE and the mask, the sanitizer, and I went in and won some bids and I was successful. And it got into the millions, like working these deals, winning these bids, being successful. And I'm like, okay, great, pivot.
That's amazing. I mean, it's just amazing how you can do that. And you helped a lot of people because we were in deep trouble. We didn't have
Yeah,
enough PPE for healthcare
yeah.
workers and first responders. And so, because I
And
remember you saying, God, what can I do to help?
yep, and a big
And save my business at the same time.
yeah, and a big thing for us was that we were very worried about just making sure that no price gouging happens because we had like a little supply chain. But then I started going direct to China because the prices people was charging. I mean, everybody owned a mask, but didn't have any money to buy a mask.
Hmm.
So we're going straight to China, directly to China. And then I had my funding in place, and we did it. And it was like to do business. Then you had to have your cash on the table. So we did it. Was successful, and moved out to my brother's place and bought a house in
Wow.
Baton Rouge. Gave up my car, bought a house, still didn't own a car, but I got around some way, somehow, got around. Never had an issue, never had a worry. And I mean, prayer and believing in yourself and believing in your methods. But I'm gonna say this though. It wasn't like when I started the seafood business. I had my lawyers, I had my counsel, and everything got done. Didn't have any hiccups at all. Everything worked out. Um, I guess at the same time it became like irony for a lot of people, and you do things, but then I always tell people whatever you do, you make that final decision. Don't let anyone else make your decision for you. You make it, positive or negative, you have to deal with it.
Right. And you did a lot of inner work. I know that because we've had those
Yeah,
conversations. And you took a look at, wait a minute, I trust people too much, I'm trying to please everyone, and I need a greater respect for money, which is
yeah,
huge. A lot of people have those challenges. And what can you say for people that have similar challenges like that are getting in their way? I mean, because that's a huge gap that you closed.
Yeah, it was. I think it's just real about refocusing on yourself. And if you were successful, if you're successful in life, and people's success is a lot of people have success as private jets, big houses. Success is different in many different ways to different people. Success is graduating high school. Success is graduating college. Success is having that job that you always wanted. Success is having that first job that you never had before. It depends on what makes you happy and what you believe in, And for me, I had my ups and downs. I won 2 Super Bowls. I made a ton of money, tons. Married, blessed with kids, beautiful kids, healthy kids, success. It depends on what it is, I mean, got divorced, got done playing football, made a bunch of bad decisions, made some great decisions. What is success to you? But you have to believe in yourself. And people can say believe in your methods, but sometimes everything that you think works doesn't work. I mean, it's just life. But you have to have confidence, because once you fall, and we always hear this, you got to get up. You have to get up. You have to get up. If you don't get up,
you always get up.
Yeah. And if you get up, you'll never finish. You'll never finish. You never know the outcome. I quit the first day of football. If I would have just stayed home, I would never went to college and got a degree. I would never went to the Patriots to win 2 Super Bowls, because something that I made a decision back in 7th grade that I quit, but I didn't. I went back out there. So I tell people, man, just when you fail, man, just change your methods, try to finish it, but don't stop. Keep going.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's great. And you're right. Back in junior high, when it was tough for you, trying to tackle someone who was nailing you. And you said, that's it, too much, I'm done. And it's great that wonderful coach of yours chased you into the locker room and read you the riot act. I'm so glad you went back, because your life would have been so different, much different. So it's really great, that whole getting back up. People have to believe more in themselves, and it's not how many times we fall, it's just how we get up. Because we all fall. Every one of us falls. We all get disappointed. And you're trusting in your faith had a lot to do with your success, for sure, which is great. You made it bigger than you.
And hopefully my kids can learn from me and some things. And also just you have your downtime or downfalls. I think the biggest thing is just being positive, and we talked about crying. I mean, it's just okay to shed tears. It's okay. I mean, you're going to have those roadblocks, in life, period, no matter what it is, not just work, job. It could be anything, so you got to keep moving, stay positive.
Well, one thing that amazes me, and boy, if we could all be like that, we would have peace on earth, is that you want to share your love with everyone, including enemies, people that make it tough on you, people that are filled with hate. It's just amazing. So how did you get there? Because we need that now. There's so much anger out there in the world right now. There's so much fear out there with everyone, getting sick with the COVID, and, people are losing loved ones. It's awful. And
it's just like the COVID stuff. You see some of the news about the people going to a restaurant, they get denied or get asked for a vax card. And I saw this morning, some guy shot a person because they asked him, where's the vaccination card at?
That's awful.
Yeah, it is. And people getting scuffles. And I don't understand. I mean, the world needs more love. It needs more kindness. It needs more happiness. And a lot of times you see the news, and when you see news, it's not, they always show more negative stuff. Negative things sell. And it's so sad that that's the world we live in today. But can it be adjusted? Can it be changed? It can, but it's going to take millions and millions of people to do it simultaneously, do it together.
Yeah, and that's why we want all of you
You know,
viewers to join in on our bold movement of hope to bring more inclusion, more kindness, and more love into
yeah.
our world. If we could
It, it,
all do that, to even a little, do something small every day, it would make a huge
yeah.
difference.
It would be just helping somebody. I mean, chivalry is dead, and it is dead. It is chivalry. It is. It is. I mean, I'm always opening the door, doing the little things.
No, but
You
you're
know,
so good at forgiving. How do you do that? Because there's a lot of us that need to forgive others out there in the world, and that's part of the anger that
yeah,
we're
it
experiencing.
is. It is, and I mean, I I have to say that came from my mom, and she raised us the right way as kids. And I call my mom a hypocrite now because she's older. She's 70. But it's like she raised us to be kind, tenderhearted. She raised us to have feelings. She raised us to have emotions, but to be positive, to help people, to open the door. If somebody needs something, you see somebody straying on the side of the road. And of course, in today's world, people aren't the same people 20 years, 40, 50, 100 years ago. People have hatred in their hearts even more. People are growing colder hearts, and for me, I'm one of the few. I think I'm one in a million. I'm on 1 in 10 million on who I am today as a person, as an individual. I truly care for people. I truly do.
Yeah, I think you're easy to love.
Thank you.
Because you give so much of yourself to others and you care so much and as we talked about in the other interview how you couldn't stand it when Katrina hit and all these mothers single moms were in such trouble and needed help with their families and you dove right in it's just part of your DNA. You're here to help. You're here to really
Thank you.
contribute to others and which is
Thank you.
amazing. And I think
Thank
it's
you.
cool. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
And I remember I guess maybe 4 or 5 months passed. I think I probably picked up three people, right? They were stranded. One was a black female, two was two white males. Um, and I picked them up, and I remember the black female. She was stranded, and I backed up, and then she walked to the car, and she looked down and looked at me, and she was looking like I said, I understand it's 2021, people are nuts. I said, look, do you need a ride? She's like, yeah, but I don't know. I said, look, I took out my license. I said, this is my license. This is my name. My name is Jarvis Green. I have 3 kids, 2 girls and a son. I'm only trying to get you to the next stop. Looks like you need help. I'm here to help you. But to get kidnapped, this is crazy. This is what you got to do these days to offer help to people. It wasn't that way years ago. It wasn't. And times have changed because they have so much hatred in the world. You don't know who to trust.
Right. But there is the goodness within all of us. And that's what you
It is.
model. That's what you model, Jarvis. And that's what we all need to do is
Yes.
model more and look for the goodness. And I think there'd be a lot less hate if we focus more on the goodness, just as you said, even in your enemies. I mean, I think that's something that is incredible. And, so I've been very inspired by you from just you being able to open your heart to people that are very unkind to you. I think that's huge.
Thank
That's
you.
amazing. And if we could all do that, it
And
would
look,
be
and look, I'm not perfect. I mean, I'm a guy. I block a lot of people. When people aggravate me at times, I say, you know what? I can't deal. I can't. It's not. I can't. I can't help you. But also the love. You have to love back. You have to get it back. You have to give it. You have to receive it as well.
right. And I think it's healthy. We have to block out negative influences in our lives. And I think that's really healthy. And if we don't, we never get to be all the best of who we are. Because it's really unhealthy to be around unhealthy situations. So
Yes, it is.
that's a really good thing. See, again, there's another example. Your values come first. Your family is more important. You don't have time for this nonsense of
I
all
know.
this negativity, and that's a really important message for everyone. because then they give out of people start giving out of resentment. I know I was been there when I was younger. I tried to help everybody, but I got burnt out,
You know what?
and
You know what? And I did that at a time when I played ball, and I'm like, I just can't help. I can't. I can't. And I got to take care of my kids. My family. Um, and I know even like when I'm home. I mean, our our home is so positive. Like when the kids come to the house, I ask them to do different things. They do their duties and if they got to wash dishes and all that stuff. They do all that stuff. But I always tell them, let's have a good time. No fussing, no fighting. It's gonna be positive action, 24/7, and that's the way it's been. That's the way it's been, and that's the way I like it. And life is too short, and we're supposed to love more than we're supposed to hate.
right, yeah, that's great. That's great. Um, those are very important messages, and if we could all be more loving to each other, um,
Yeah.
that would make a big difference. If we could be more like my rescue dogs, they're unconditionally loving. If we could be
That's
more
what
like
they do.
them,
That's what right. That's what they do.
yeah,
Yes, that's what they're built for. You're right.
right. I have all three of them around me now.
Oh,
Um,
they're quiet. They don't say anything, huh?
they're not always. They're not always quiet.
Yeah.
If I get a package delivered, you don't hear them barking.
Oh, good.
Um, yeah, but if I love, I try to emulate them because they're unconditionally loving. And if we could all be unconditionally loving to each other, we'd have peace on earth, no ifs, ands, or buts.
Yes.
Um, so I also a couple more things I wanted to ask you about is you have this other new business you've just launched, and can you tell us about that?
Oh, talking about Chef to You?
Yes.
Yeah. So Chef to You is I've been promoting it down in Newport for this wine event, and Chef to You is for chefs. You have these different other apps that's out there right now. They're very expensive, very high. Chef to You will not be like a traditional food app. It's going to be more about the small businesses, mom and pops. But then you're saying Chef to You, you got catering, you got food trucks, you got for if you want to like gift baskets, weekly, monthly meals. If you're a vegan, if you're celiac, if you rapid weight loss, if you have cancer, anything that deals with your health, Chef to You will be that specific app that's going to be for everybody. So when you want a burger, you're not going to just see the yellow arches pop up first all the time. They won't be on that app. You're going to see specific restaurant owners, mom and pop places, and we preach to them that they need to have the ability to cater to anyone that has health needs obligations. So the good thing about Chef to You is that we signed and we're doing a deal with Simon Group Properties, largest mall owner in the world, and we're gonna start off in Florida in March of 2022 in Florida with 5 malls, 50 food trucks, and we're going to grow from there with Chef to You. Now this is a beta, so it's a 9-month beta, but on that app, say if you want to order, you need food, you could talk to the chef or the restaurant like present time, and you can have it your way, depending on what you want. On the menu, if you don't see what you want, you can ask them that. You can pick your favorite chef in the area. And again, this app is for the chefs. This is a chef app, Chef to You.
So as a consumer, right? If
Yep.
I lived in Florida, and how would I be able to use that app? Would I
So,
have to go someplace, or would they deliver?
they're going
Or
to deliver. So just say you live in Tampa. You
okay,
got 2 malls in Tampa. Now, of course, the food truck is going to run around the malls, right? The geofence and all that, the demographics, the geofence area. But then just say, oh, I want Asian, but I want something different. I don't want a brick and mortar. I heard they got this going on at the mall. You can order that if you're in a certain radius, and it will get delivered to your home. Now, if you want to go to the mall and today it's Wednesday, and you say, you know what? I got 4 or 5 kids, you got whatever, you can order your food on Wednesday. And when you get to the mall on Saturday, your food will be ready for that particular time that you choose.
And what does
But
it have to do with the trucks?
well, so when we first started with the app, it was more like we were trying to find a vehicle to attach ourselves to. But then we had some communication with Simon Group, and we talked for months, and we went through contracts, and everything looked good. We agreed upon different terms. But Simon is a vehicle for us because at some point we're going to be in the malls getting downloads from the customers. So we tell the food trucks this, you got a food truck event and everybody get out there and they try to see how busy it is. They look for the long lines, but these food trucks, these customers are going to be invisible customers because of the technology and the platform that Chef You will bring to them. So just because you don't have a line of 50 people to 100 people, you will still have people chiming, looking for your food and your orders. And they will either come to you or we will have a courier service to pick up from that food truck to bring to that particular address.
Okay, so people with concerns with diabetes or anyone that has any kind of health concerns, that vegetarian, for example, or I'm really fussy, like I love Italian food more than
Yep.
anything, but I hate onions, peppers, and mushrooms. So would I be able to call one of those chefs and order some Italian food without onions, peppers, and mushrooms?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. So when you go in, you got the quick meals, right? And then you also have the catering side. But then you could talk to that chef about, hey, could you do this or could you offer this? Of course, price may change here and there, but they could cater to you.
Right, and how do I do that? Is it through my phone, the app? You
Yeah,
said it's through
yeah,
my phone. I text him or her.
yeah. Yes, you go into the storefront and you would go in there and they would have like somewhere that you could talk to the chef. And then you pretty much you could have a live conversation with that chef. The chef will get a chime, and then y'all would interact back and forth. And it's again, you can put your details and exactly what you need for your food, for your orders, and the
Mhm.
chef for you.
Excellent. That's really fascinating.
Yeah, and
Um,
forward to it. I mean, it's gonna be something new because you can't just go in and say, "Hey, I don't want the secret sauce on a Big Mac or something," McDonald's. I mean, they're going to do what they've been doing. All the fast food chains are going to be doing what they've been doing. But these mom and pop places, when you walk in, you get that same customer satisfaction that they can alter and adjust their menu and their plates for their customers. Well, this app is going to do the same thing for the customer, and the chef could do that. And the chef, is going to be able to have an ability to win more customers because they could cater to anyone.
and they work out of a truck. These always.
Truck, brick and mortar, anything.
Okay. And so
But
this
even
will. Oh, go ahead.
some chefs going to be able to work out of their house. Excuse me, because every state has a cottage law, and every state it differs in every state on
Mhm.
what chef could possibly do.
Excellent. Wow.
Mhm.
Well, that's really exciting. I look forward to them coming to New England.
So definitely, hopefully it'll be 2022 in the fall. Hopefully.
Oh, good, good, good.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm sure it would help the chefs as well as, the consumer, to
Yeah.
get.
Then the good thing about it is that it's not the 30-40%. They'll be charging 15%. So that's going to really help the chef as well.
So it's reasonable.
Yes, for the platform. Yes.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right, and one really important question I want to ask you with all this culture challenges and Black Lives Matter and the horrible death of George Floyd last year, um, and how a lot of people all over the country rised up to support him and what happened. And it, as a white person, middle class white person, for me, I thought I understood more
Mm-hmm.
about what other races go through because my mom was a civil rights leader and And so I thought I understood, but with the whole George Floyd thing, I didn't know and I didn't know. And a lot of us don't know what we don't know. And do you see, so what was it like to grow up a Black child and become a Black man and a Black father? And how do you see things now?
I mean, for us, we grew up in a small town, Louisiana. I mean, it was always tough. I mean, my mom worked for, as a Philip Randolph for NAACP, back in Atlanta, and she used to have lunch with Martin Luther King's father back in the day. So I mean, she's been around it her whole life, and they moved to Atlanta. She moved to Boston so she could have, I guess, more opportunity, right, to do things as a Black woman. But us growing up, they didn't teach us any hatred. They taught us more about that. She said that the world's going to be different. It's adjusting, and a lot of people will not give in. And the color of your skin, you have to do a lot more things. You have to work, 10 times harder. You have to believe in yourself. And a lot of people will give you doubt through the process, but you can't stop. So for me, and I'm gonna say this too, playing sports was a blessing. The sports world is completely different than the real world. It really is. Black, white, brown, yellow, we don't care. We see everyone for who they are, because in the sports world, I started playing in seventh grade, but it's different. All the things that goes on the outside, we talk about it all the time, but we keep moving. We have a job to do. We got camaraderie. We are brothers in one. It doesn't matter about the color. And the crazy thing is that we all have our jive talk from where we grew up, and it's not personal, So it's different than I think if I didn't play football, I would have seen and got affected even more with the color barriers and the issues between the color of your skin. But I've been through it before. I mean, I've got checked before, and by people, and I guess just to see my dominance on who I was as a person. But I mean, I think at the same time, we grew up with an open mind from our parents, and you see what's going on today in the world. And I didn't really I saw the Black Lives Matter and all the stuff that was going on. And even you go all the way back to when Homeboy took a knee at the game. Um, I didn't really get into it, I mean, just everything that goes on with the presidents, the politics. Um, does it affect me does it affect me every day? Maybe it does, I don't know, Chris. It's just crazy times that we live in, and I mean, I grew up around the Confederate flags and seeing those Confederate
Oh,
flags
oh,
in Louisiana. But I mean, when I see that at a bar, I don't go in that bar. It's not my bar to go into.
good.
No, so the South is the South. Even you go down to all the statues and the monuments getting torn down and this and that. And I mean, every country in this world has had history. Every country, every place, every zip code, every address have had history, good and bad. I mean, that's what made us all today, So I don't know. I mean, I still go through it, I can tell if somebody is what's the word? I could say racist or racial. I don't know. I could tell if somebody don't like me. I could tell if somebody upset because maybe I got an edge on them. But we all be going through that, different walks of life, every nationality, every person.
I know. I have a belief that bigots hate their own guts, and that's why they act that way.
Biggest, that's the word. Yep.
You
That's the
know,
word.
and they're just detached from their soul. So,
Yeah.
and do you think it's getting better now? I mean, do you think the whole George Floyd incident is going to help transform people to be more loving?
A lot has changed. I'm gonna say this too. When Kaepernick took a knee,
Right.
people talk about what could have happened. the camera guy could have not even focused on him taking a knee. It would have never existed.
Right.
It will never existed. I mean, I've seen people, well, they've been down to tie their shoe during the national anthem, but then there was a time too, at one time we didn't go out for the national anthem. We didn't, unless it was Super Bowl. I mean, that the world been changing, but that kind of like changed everything. That put everybody hit the brakes, and like everybody, you can see, open their eyes or woke, whatever you want to call it. But it changed a lot of different things. I mean, my brother was a policeman for 20 years. My sister's a policeman now. My dad, my uncles, my grandfather served in the military. A few went to war, combat. I believe in my policemen. I believe in those who go to war, who fight for the country and protect us. Is it a thin line? It's not. We got to make the right decisions.
Right. We do. And again, and it's back to just bringing more love into the world. We're all community. We're all the same. We're all human beings with souls.
We are. We are beating ourselves. We are beating ourselves down. We're all this.
Yes, definitely. And one of my mentors, Barbara Marx Hubbard, said that crisis is an evolutionary driver. So I'm really hoping that this crisis really can transcend us to become more loving to each other.
Crisis, yes. Disasters. It drives everything. It increases. Yes. It gives jobs. It rebuilds. It does so much.
Definitely. So, in wrapping up, is there anything else you want to share?
No, just thanks again, for letting me share my story on Insightful Player. It's always great, we catch up and talk about things, and a lot of things to be emotional, but it's like a time that I can get things off of my chest, and share with you and share with those who's watching and listening. It's a big deal, the world we live in. And again, like you said, we got to just have big hearts and keep sharing and keep loving.
Definitely.
Be kind.
Yeah, be kind. That's right. And that's why we reignited Insightful Player, to bring more inclusion, kindness, and more love into our world. And that's our focus. And so I would like to invite everyone out there today to just do something to lift someone up today. Just whatever it takes. Just someone in your family, someone in your neighborhood, the grocery clerk, just smile at them, acknowledge them. Because even if you're feeling awful, if you do something nice for someone else, you're going to feel a lot better. So go out there and just spread love. Okie doke, and kindness. So thank you for listening, and thank you for being here. Jarvis Green, I love you. You're the best. And we'll talk again soon. The entire Insightful Player podcast initiative is dedicated to the late Tom Constantino. Tom Constantino was my PR consultant. He was over the moon fabulous. He was really an exceptional human being. And Insightful Player wouldn't have made it to where it is now if it wasn't for Tom. So Tom, up there in heaven, I just want you to know you're going to live in my heart forever. And I am forever grateful for you. Thank you.